What's up everybody, it's Dandy back again with another modded Minecraft tutorial, yet again in All the Mods 9. So today, we're going over a very cool mod I am super excited to show you all, and it's gonna go down right down there between those colorful trees. I'll see you down there in just a sec. Alright, so here we are in the place we need to be, and that is the Ars Nouveau magical facility. That's right, today we're going over Ars, a mod that I am very fond of as I love magic in all games, and I constructed this wonderful little place on Tutorial Island to showcase the magic. Now you'll notice first of all that this place doesn't have any torches, but it's still well lit at night. That's because we have mage lights. You can see the name of the mod there, Ars Nouveau. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but it is a wonderful mod, and I'm going to go over the very basics today on what exactly you need to do to get this mod started and start utilizing one of the best and most practical magical mods, in my opinion, to ever grace Minecraft. So, to start off, you're going to need the basics, and the basics for a mod like this are going to be a book. A classic book, and the book for this is called the Worn Notebook, and you make it out of lapis and a single book. Now I'm gonna get myself some logs here so I can make a crafting table. Excellent. And the book is, again, one book, one lapis, and you get the Worn Notebook. Relatively simple name, but this book's gonna contain everything that you need to know to become a proper mage. And the first step is getting your very own notebook. So if you go to the Getting Started tab, there's a lot to go through, and, you know, there's a lot of things to look at, but the spell book is really where you're going to get started. So your first spell book, what's going to kick off your journey as a basic mage, is going to be a book and one each of all of the standard iron tools. So that's a shovel, a pickaxe, an axe, and a sword. And you're going to combine that with a standard book to make the novice spell book. So let's go ahead and get one of those made up. I just happen to have a whole bunch of iron and other stuff laying around. So let's go ahead and make it. So again, you're going to need one of each standard tool. So that's a pickaxe, a shovel, an axe. Hold, I'm getting my things backwards here. And a sword. And once you have all of those, you just line them up in no particular order, put the book right in the corner, and you'll get your very first spell book, the Novice Spell Book. And as you can see, we have started magic. So this book is going to be the basis of everything you do in Ars Nouveau. If you hit C, it could change, but on my keyboard, I believe the standard key set is the letter C. You will open up the menu for the book. And right now there's not a lot going on, but trust me, there is a lot to get into. So the first thing you want to do is create a spell for you to cast. The book is not only where you create your spells, it is how you will cast them. As you can see, I'm attempting to cast, but I'm not really doing anything, so I have no spells built. So hit C, and let's start off with, say, a projectile. So first you choose the form of your spell, and again, projectile, and it'll go down here. This is your spell creation bar. So my spell is going to be a projectile, and it is going to conjure mage light. Why not? And we'll call it ranged light. And then you hit create. It shows you how much mana it's going to cost out of your mana bar, and your mana bar is natural to you as a player when you spawn. And now I can fire a spell that will create a mage light at the location it lands by right-clicking. So you can see you swing the book still, but I can aim and fire off a light that will land wherever I cast it. And these lights stay forever. You can destroy them, but they'll stay once you place them. And again, this is a ranged version, so if you need to get some light up in high places in a cave, boom. And as you can see, my mana is regenerating at the bottom as I cast it. So you automatically start with mana and regenerate it as you go. As an example for another spell, let's move on to another one. So you can get rid of these and create a whole new spell by going to slot number 2. You have 10 spell slots, and that never changes. So let's say that I want to do another projectile, but I want it to harm. So you see here it takes that much mana for projectile and harm. But what if I wanted to harm a little more, or a little more? You can see now it takes a lot of mana, but it's going to deal a lot more damage. So we'll call this one, here, let me name it, Big Harm. Create that, and now, wrong button there. Now we are on to Big Harm. So there is a way to move through these, and that is by holding V. It'll bring up a radial wheel, and you can choose your different spells. So with Big Harm, let's see, is there something around? There was a pig hanging around for a while, but I guess he knew that I was cooking up something that could cook him. So, but this is going to be a spell that if you look again in the bottom left of the screen, you'll see that when I cast it, looks just like the Mage Light one, but it ate up a lot of my mana, and that's because it's using that harm modifier over and over again to make an extra strong spell. Alright, so the rain has gone away now, and I think it's time that I show you one of the second most important things, or probably the second most important thing for this mod, and it utilizes these beautiful trees that I've placed around. So these trees have a variety of names, but they all include archwood. So this is the flashing archwood tree, we have the flourishing archwood tree, blazing, vexing, and last but not least, cascading. Each of these are part of this mod and can be used to build the different structures that this mod requires. The first of which, and the most important of the structures I'd say, simply requires any of the logs, doesn't matter which type, and some gold. So this is called the Scribe's Table. The way you build it is simple. Get yourself some archwood slabs, some gold nuggets, and then the actual logs. And go log, log, gold, gold, and slabs. And like that, you have the Scribe's Table. The Scribe's Table is one of the most important pieces of filling out this mod. So here you go, it's a wonderful little table. It has all your paper on the bottom and your pen and ink. If you're a D&D fan, you'll recognize that, you know, it takes the proper pen and the proper ink and the proper paper to get yourself new spells, and that's how this mod works. So if you take your spell book and right-click on the Scribe's Table, it opens up a list of different glyphs. These glyphs are how you develop your spells further, and as you may notice, there's 3 tiers here. So tier 1 are spells you can use right away with your novice spellbook. If you want to use tier 2 and 3, you're going to need higher level spells, but that'll come later. But the spells are incredibly diverse, and each of these glyphs is broken down based on what it is. So if you'll remember, in the spellbook itself, there are forms and effects, and then there are modifiers, which we have none of yet. The form is the form the spell takes. So do you cast it on yourself? Is it by touch? Is it a projectile? The effect is what the spell does, and then modifiers continue to edit those things. So if you'll look here, there's a new form for underfoot. So that means it'll automatically cast it below you, and it'll tell you what it costs to make that. So iron boots and a pressure plate. There's also conjure mage block. This one is hugely important and creates a mage block. There's bounce. There's sensitive. Oh, I think we found somebody who's willing to let us test a big harm on him. Hey buddy, out of curiosity, how does this feel? Well, he didn't seem to like that very much. Oh, let's see, if you look there, it took, and these guys are pretty tanky, it took a good chunk of his health. So, what about you? Yeah. So, relatively weak off the beginning, but trust me, there are a lot better spells you can get as you continue down the road. So, as I was saying, you're going to want to start looking into these glyphs and making as many of them as you can. So you can even get filters for not things. So filter for stops the spell from resolving if it targets an aerial creature, or all kinds of different modifiers. You can pull, you can fell. So you can use this to cut down trees and other vegetation. You can use it to cast a ranged spell to interact. So you can hit a switch from across a chasm if you need to. There's ones for harvesting plants, and these are only tier 1. When you get into tier 3, you have Burst, which is a spherical area. It makes the spell appear in a sphere around you. You have it so that you can split the spell into multiple projectiles. You can cause it to home. You can glide, so you can use your spellbook to jump off of things and glide. You can become intangible, summon undead. There's really so many things that you can do, and those will come with upgrading your spellbook, but glyphs are really what this mod is centered around. So, sir, I'm gonna need you to leave. I have a thing, just to deal with him, actually. Sorry, fella. Alright, now that our guests are dealt with, let me show you what it looks like to make one of these. So, you'll right-click here, and then you will decide that you want to make one. So I'm going to make Mage Block. So once you choose it, it'll tell you what the ingredients are, and you hit Select. And now, hovering above are all of the different ingredients you could possibly use. So this one just requires a bunch of glass. So all you have to do is toss glass at it, and the ingredients you need will slowly be whittled away until you've used all of them. Now it'll go ahead and scribe you your brand new glyph, and boop, there it goes. So once you have it, you can see I have the glyph of Conjure Mage Block, and once you use it, you've unlocked the spell Mage Block. So now I have Mage Block. If I go into my book, you can see it here. So let's make a new spell. How about we do Touch Mage Block, and that'll be it. It'll just be a Touch Mage Block, and we'll call it simply Mage Block. Create that, and now if you take this and say cast it, oh, wrong thing, cast it right here, then you're creating blocks for free, just using mana. And you can see it's not a very expensive spell. You can pretty quickly crank out Mage Blocks. So it's a very, very useful spell to help you traverse places without having to carry stacks and stacks of blocks. But you'll notice they're starting to delete themselves over time. Mage Block does not last forever, unlike the Mage Light. But that's something else that can be cured. If you go to this table here, somewhere or another, there's a modifier like Amplify. Amplify will increase the power of most spell effects, increase the harvest level of different things. So modifiers like this will help you keep your spells around longer. So if you use Amplify with Mage Block, they will stay forever. Or there's a break spell that lets you harvest blocks, or a craft spell that lets you act like a crafting table wherever you are. You can utilize these with modifiers to make them more potent. Technically, using Amplify with Mage Light will make the lights glow brighter, which is really, really helpful for being in very dark caves because you can lay lights less frequently, but they cover more area. Alright, so we went over today how to get just to the beginning of this mod. Honestly, it's such a depthy mod. This is just how you get your book online, how to get the resources you need with the Worn Notebook, and how to start casting and creating spells. And there's a lot to do with this mod. You can create armor for yourself that helps your mana be better, helps you cast better spells. There's getting through all the different levels of spells, upgrading your notebooks. You can even fight specific bosses to this mod that you have to summon in to upgrade your spell book, or create turrets that are trained to automatically cast an individual spell whenever they have mana. There really is a lot that you can do, but this is just about the basics, so I'm going to go ahead and call it here. If you want to know more about the Ars Nouveau mod, please do let me know. I really do love the magic mods in this game, and I'm always happy to go over them. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any recommendations or mods that you want to learn about, because I will be happy to teach you about them. And drop a like and a follow or subscribe if you are interested in continuing to learn about Minecraft or many other games, hopefully in the future. Either way, thanks for tuning in. I'm Dandy again, and I'll catch you later. Bye!